Can y'all see this? Is it too bright? Nope, y'all should be good. Okay, I'm showing you that because there's some that believe that if there's no branding on a sneaker, you are not allowed to give the colorway a specific name, one that was specifically put on the box of the sneaker. I'm not gonna name that sneaker in particular, but that seems to be the case with one sneaker. So yeah, this insole belongs to this pair of sneakers. It says McDonald's on it. I'm gonna call it the McDonald's colorway. We cool? Everybody straight? Nobody gonna press me this time? All right then, who wants a cookie? What's going on, everyone? My name is Jalik from WearTesters.com. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Sorry if I offended anybody or anything like that. Anyone that has pressed me about naming a shoe a specific colorway or naming a colorway a specific, or giving a colorway a specific name. I mean, I don't hate you. I don't hate your guts or anything. I'm just a little petty. Wear testers can have fun too, right? But anyway, all that aside, this is the Adidas Next Level 2020, the latest in laceless. That sounds like a good Instagram caption, don't y'all think? All right, maybe on another one. Please nobody steal that. Probably will. This is the latest of the Adidas laceless basketball line, the Next Level 2020. There was an original Next Level. They proved that it could be done. And not only did they prove it could be done, they did it pretty damn well, with the Next Level being one of the better performers of that time period when it came out. What was it, like late 2018, early 2019, something like that? I guess you can consider it like a flagship team shoe, but after a while, once Trae Young came into the league, it pretty much seems like it was exclusive to him. I didn't see anybody else really wearing it from Adidas brand or any free agents or anything. So Trae Young kind of became the man behind that, and he did debut the 2020 edition during All-Star Weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Dude's been killing it. He's been killing it in these along with the original Next Levels. Shout out to that kid. I mean, what, top 5 in scoring, top 3 in assists per game, something like that. I know his team record is down there and he pretty much can't go back into the regular season, but I mean, the Hawks have what, like the youngest team in the league? Not even Vince Carter could make a dent in the average age of that team. So, I mean, so all in all, I say we got a bad boy rocking some potential bad boys. I'm gonna go ahead and call that now, but let's get into why I think that these are potential bad boys. Starting with the outsole, everything has been scrapped as far as any herringbone in the shoe. There are kind of like this like wavy herringbone patterns along the midfoot, but in my mind, it's more of that multi-directional, I call it feature wear pattern. You can find it on portions of the BYWX outsoles. I'm sure there's some other models, some legacy models that I can't think of off the top of my head right now, but it's a familiar pattern from Adidas. This time around, the way they implement it it looks pretty beastly. The rubber looks and feels durable. It's not too hard, it's not too soft of a rubber, kind of just like right in between, right where it's expected to do good things at. There's enough space so that dust shouldn't get clogged up too heavily in the shoe. I'm just gonna put it like this. There's no in-betweens for me. If this stuff isn't amazing Hall of Fame level traction, in my mind, it's gonna be a dud. I'm gonna do the best to score it as accurately as I can when I finish testing these, but that's just in my mind. Just know in my mind, whatever the score is, if it's not Hall of Fame level, it can be All-Star, it could be starting 5, it could be whatever. If it's not Hall of Fame, if I don't give it that Hall of Fame stamp, in my mind, it's a disappointment. That's the best way I can put it. And what I can say as far as the traction goes is I snuck my way out onto an indoor court. It was a pretty pristine floor, but there were some shoes that did not perform as well as some others. What I can tell you is this was absolutely the most tacky, the hardest biting, screechiest, like whatever you're looking for in a traction. This had it more than any other shoe that I put out on that same court. Obviously, with things slowed down the way they are, there's not a whole lot of dust accumulation in there. This was head and shoulders above the rest of the shoes that I tested out traction wise. Now for the cushion, light strike returns from the original Next Level. It's funny because if I'm not mistaken, the original Next Level was the first shoe to implement light strike cushion in basketball, and in my mind, that's still to date the best implementation of light strike foam for basketball shoes. The Dame 6 came kind of close, but just the overall curvature and the way things were sculpted, I didn't necessarily have that issue, but I could see where a lot of people were coming from. And then the Harden Volume 4, I actually love the cushion setup on that. It did surprisingly well for me, but I do have to admit, it's a pretty thin setup. There's not a lot of cushion in the forefoot, so you lose a little bit of impact protection, a little bit of that cushion feel to help your legs feel fresh for a longer period of time. So that kind of missed the mark. And then the Adidas Street Ball. Now, granted, it was never really clarified whether that was a performance sneaker or a lifestyle sneaker. Everything is kind of pointing more towards lifestyle. However, with promo for the shoe, they were literally putting people in the Adidas Street Ball to play outdoor basketball in. So some kind of hybrid, like a tweener, I don't know. But what I do know is for a shoe named Street Ball, indicating outdoor play, that was some stiff cushion. That was some stiff light strike. I could tell it was light strike. It was like a lightweight brick, a brick on Slim Fast. That one definitely, that was by far the worst experience I had with light strike. The original Next Level still kind of takes the top for me. This seems like it's a good blend of something like the Next Level and the Harden 4, just because of its like sculpting, the curvature and stuff. Reminds me of the Harden Volume 4, but it's not quite as low to the ground, so you have a little bit more of a cushion feel in the forefoot. I really do like that. I like the comfort of the cushion. When I first stepped foot into these guys and when I first took them out onto court, I liked it 10 times even more. It almost feels, dare I say, like an air cushion. Like, I don't want to get people's hopes up too high, but that's just how I feel. Like, it almost feels like air instead of a foam. I guess because it is such a lightweight foam, it's like it feels dense but lighter than your average midsole at the same time. So that's the best way I can describe it. Super comfortable setup. And then going back to that Harden Volume 4 sculpting that I mentioned, I think it's possibly an improvement over the original Next Level, just because that was more of a flat base. So it was just a little on the slappy side. With these, I didn't really feel that so much. So I'm hoping that everything holds up as far as the cushion goes and it continues to feel the way that it feels now, or close to how it feels now. And if that is the case, then it will be an improvement, but TBD. Now for the materials on this guy, the upper itself, like the base upper, is pretty much taken directly from the original Next Level. So you have knit all over. It is a different type of knit up in the forefoot compared to the midfoot and back. That's more of a stretchy type of compression type knit. But with the Next Level 2020, they did add some overlays. So here on the heel, over on the lateral side, and then the medial side, you have the synthetic leather overlays. Adidas also took the 3 Stripes branding that was knitted or stitched onto the medial side. They scaled it down, moved it over to the top of the foot. This is kind of like a, I don't know, rubbery, maybe vinyl type material. It's not the most like aesthetically pleasing spot to put the branding on, but I mean, it is what it is. As far as performance, it doesn't enhance anything. It doesn't get in the way of anything either. So, I mean, whatever. And the pull tabs have also been switched up a little bit. So this back tab here is more of a traditional pull tab. It's not like that weird, like spoiler looking thing. And then on the inside, you do have that elastic band. So right where the knit breaks from that like yellow underlaying pattern to the red underlaying pattern here, there is an elastic band that stretches across pretty much this area here, and then underneath is like a neoprene material, so that elastic band sits between the knit and that neoprene sleeve. And then inside you do have some Achilles notches. Those are nice and comfortable. And then I'm not gonna say it's 100% cat tongue, but I do feel like a little bit of that like friction, or like those fibers catching a little bit. So yeah, it's like cat's tongue, but it's kind of spotty. Now for the fit of these guys, in my opinion, they run long. If you couldn't tell by how they look, just the overall shape, I mean, they look like they run pretty long. Now, I'll say they don't run as long as they look. Some people might actually prefer the amount of space that you have up here, but for me and what I'm used to, they can stop a little shorter. Just gonna be honest. I do feel like that takes away from the aesthetics quite a bit on it, especially because, just to jump back to materials, I do believe they lowered the collar height from the original. It does seem like things got lowered here, which kind of in turn just kind of messes with the whole shape here. That's no excuse for making the shoe run longer than it should, in my opinion, but I would still say stay true to size on these guys for most people, just because the compression that you have in this area is so snug, it's so suffocating. If you start sizing down, you probably start losing some circulation to your foot. Trust me, you'll be very secure in your true size around this area. I almost pulled my entire foot off trying to get my feet out of the shoe the first couple of times I tried them on. So I think true to size is gonna work for most here. Didn't get a lot of like side to side movement or anything up here, so these overlays do a good job as far as like reinforcing those areas. My bad. Definitely no heel slippage or anything like that. I didn't feel like my toes crashing up against the front. There wasn't really any movement up in the forefoot, even with that extra length. So happy for that. Hopefully that stays the same. I can't tell if there's a torsional bar in here, but everything is pretty like stiff and rigid around that area.
That's what she said.
It's not like a fully decoupled midsole or outsole anyway, so torsional support is there. And then the base, I mean, the base could be wider. Adidas recently has been going with wider bases, but this should do the job. The last thing, probably one of the most notable things other than the shoe being completely laceless, was the lateral like banking barrier that was on the original. The Pizza Hut logo is gone. It's been replaced by this like wavy foam mark here. It's still foam on the outside. It does seem like it's a plastic on the inside. So there's some extra stability back there as well. And yeah, that's about gonna do it for the Adidas Next Level 2020. I am not sure on the US retail price or release on these guys, but I do think some details will be coming soon. So just keep an eye out if you're interested in these guys. And I mean, with all that being said, I'm gonna get out of here real quick. Stay safe, stay healthy, equality for all, leak.